In this episode, I want to share with you my alternative speech production process, my new miracle voice. I have a supernatural voice. I speak without the use of vocal cords. This is not a known alternative speech production process. My voice was given to me by the Lord Jesus Christ. You will learn by watching my testimony that my voice is different to any voice known to you. My name is Neels Cornelissen, and this is my story. The voice that you now hear is a voice without the use of vocal cords. I lost the use of my vocal cords and my ability to speak after an operation in 2012. I taught myself to communicate by making sucking sounds. Communication is such a vital tool and such an intricate part of our human survival. People are always competing to speak, and when disadvantaged, you don't have an equal chance to speak. I was doing reasonably well in a very short time. I was sucking air into my lungs, and while doing that, I tried to form words that made sense. It wasn't too difficult and also not easy. The problem is that you will always be disadvantaged and never be able to compete in a conversation. After the operation, I started to produce my first sounds. That was phenomenally amazing. I had absolutely no idea where that came from. I decided to make it my passion to find out. My amazing journey and exploration took me to discover unknown medical breakthroughs and miracles. It is a great honor and privilege, and I would like to share my journey and testimony with you. I am very excited to share with you once again another amazing part of my testimony. This was an amazing achievement for me, and how this changed my quality of life. I want to share with you my supernatural voice and how God gave me this special voice. This is not normal voice. A normal voice requires the use of vocal cords to produce sound vibration. After I received this new voice, the voice that you are witnessing right now, I realized that all the techniques that I have practiced for many years and well trained and mastered all form part of my new sound production process. Before I could produce this voice, I had to undergo a number of processes. On 23rd May 2012, I received a total esophagectomy procedure or gastric pull-up. And total esophagectomy is the removal of the esophagus. Only the bottom part of my stomach was used to form a sausage, which was pulled up into my chest cavity and stapled 5 millimeters below the height of my larynx. I lost my ability to speak after the esophagectomy operation and was told by a professor that I will never be able to speak again. After the operation, I was challenged with a severe condition of acid regurgitation and acid reflux. Firstly, I needed to find a way to combat and to survive from this continuous disruption of acid regurgitation and acid reflux. During my journey and exploration of my own body, I discovered new mysteries unveiling themselves. These mysteries God made available for me to explore. This led me to new medical breakthroughs. Professors and doctors has not read about, nor have they heard or even seen. Completely new and a total surprise to them. The medical experts came to a conclusion. The technique that I do is a phenomenal miracle given to me only, and it cannot be reproduced. Their conclusion were based on me showing them on camera my very basic technique 6, my swallowing and laryngopharynx closing technique. This technique was the stepping stone to many more advanced techniques that I shared in the previous episodes. The question currently is whether someone else will be able to voluntarily reproduce what I do as a normal part of my daily life and also part of my autonomic nerve system, also part of my autoneuromuscular control. What does this mean? This means that this voluntary action I also do involuntary. My muscles are well trained to voluntarily carry out functions that is normally only carried out involuntary or autonomic. I agree with their conclusion. They were correct. The question should rather be, can I teach someone else to do these techniques? My answer is to someone who really needs help. And I believe that this may even include a great number of the world's population. Yes, I will be able to help. So many people are suffering from acid regurgitation and acid reflux. Please note that in all the techniques that I have shared in the previous episodes were only basic steps for you to be able to understand and to assist you to comprehend the larger part of my testimony. Each technique has many more hidden detail which I have not disclosed in these episodes. Please, I highly recommend you do not do them to prevent any injury or any bodily harm that you may suffer as a result thereof. If you have not watched these episodes wherein I share these amazing techniques, please do so. By watching these episodes, you will gain much more understanding of how it is possible for me to speak. This will make it easier to be able to comprehend that which surpasses all understanding of the miraculous. In these episodes, I prepared you for even greater miracles. I have no approved medical background or any medical qualifications. These techniques I developed based on my own personal experiences and knowledge. The knowledge that I have are no book knowledge. This is all about discovering new abilities and techniques to enhance my disadvantaged position within my own body. This is how amazing this is. Doctors are confused and baffled and would rather not get involved any further. Doctors' ultimate goal is to help and to assist patients. In my case, they can't help me, and they don't know how I could assist other patients. That is by implementing my techniques. I can understand and relate to their conclusion that the technique is a given miracle to me and to me only, and it cannot be reproduced. For me to achieve these results, I had to be focused, disciplined, and be willing to succeed despite all the challenges and tremendous discomfort locked up inside the process of discovery. I believe that you can achieve all things. How do I know that? One is to believe that within you, you have the potential to do it. And two is to trust in your Creator. In my previous episodes, I covered a large part, but one segment of the various techniques I developed over a long period of time. I want to share with you my alternative speech as another segment of my greater testimony. Let me continue with the next part of my testimony, and that is how I am able to speak without the use of vocal cords. About a month before the operation, in consultation with a professor, he explained to me the risk factors pre, during, and post-operational stages. He told me that I had a maximum of 3 months to live, even with or without the operation, that he had planned to remove my esophagus. In fact, he said that it was impossible for me to live longer than 3 months. He shared with me a list of reasons why he was able to make that statement. I will share with you in a later episode. One was that I would also have a very good chance to lose my voice permanently. After the total esophagectomy procedure or gastric pull-up, I lost my ability to speak. My body was in tremendous discomfort and I was in pain. I was forced to sit and sleep and stay upright because the moment I would lower my head, my stomach content would run out with severe consequences. My desire to speak was much greater than the pain that I endured. To produce sound from the inside out and not from the outside in, which are obtained by normal vocal sound productions, provides even greater challenges. I was sucking air into my mouth, down my larynx, into my lungs. If this was combined with acid regurgitation and acid reflux, I would suck some of that acid fluid down my larynx, trachea, and lungs. The air swallowing and laryngopharynx closing technique that I developed during that same time was inoperative when I was communicating by producing sucking sounds. I couldn't do both at the same time. To deal with acid inside the lungs and other parts of the respiratory system are never pleasant. The challenges that I had to face was enormous. I was determined to face and to overcome every challenge that came my way. To answer a telephone represented its own range of challenges. People would thought that there was something wrong with me. And there was. I was disabled and was battling to make myself understood. I never explained my condition because it was too painful to engage in a long conversation. I endured the negative response. The sucking sounds that I produced sounded like somebody would speak after a tracheostomy that ran out of air to produce the last part of the sentence. A tracheostomy is when a hole is inserted into the trachea or windpipe, and a pipe is fitted into that hole to assist with breathing. A person with a tracheostomy will find some difficulty to speak because most of the air will pass through the inserted pipe and not through the vocal cords. I believe that he can increase his ability to speak by obstructing or even the closing of the pipe. This will enable all the air to travel through the vocal cords. My direct family found me easier to understand because I could combine facial expressions as part of my way of communications. I have prepared myself for this reality, for this potential disablement since before the operation. I always hoped that it would not be, but I knew of the risks that accompanied my prior decision making of having the operation. Isn't it funny that we only appreciate something a lot more when it is being taken away from us? While we have it, like vocal ability, good health, etc., we take those blessings for granted. And only when we lost that, we appreciate it so much more. During the last 10 years, I have learned to take nothing for granted. Everything is a blessing, and I learned to appreciate everything that I do have. I've learned that little is much. I've learned in the relationship with our Creator that Thanksgiving is part of worship. About 3 months after the operation, I was told by the professor that I would never be able to speak again. At that very moment, I was so happy to be alive that my speech was not that important. Later that evening, I wasn't so happy anymore. Yes, I was happy to be alive, but I had hope that I would not lose my voice. That night, at home in my bed, I made a covenant with the Lord Jesus Christ. I asked Jesus that if He would give me a new voice, and if He does, I would sing for Him and I would speak His word. I am some of an introvert and had no idea what that entailed. I had no idea of this incredible journey that I had to endure, of which I have only shared a small fraction. Please note, I've asked Him for a new voice. I didn't ask Him to restore and heal my existing voice. In the back of my mind, I heard the professor, and he said, never. I had peace with that. I was trusting God for a new voice. In my next video, I will share with you an even greater mystery. I'm going to share with you how it is possible for me to speak. In the previous episodes, I shared with you techniques to prepare you for what I am going to reveal to you in the following episode. I thank you for taking the time to watch this part of my testimony. I trust that you are a little more enlightened and that you will also follow the next part of my testimony that is coming soon. This is going to be super awesome, and we can't wait to share with you another supernatural experience. This is going to be an experience unspeakable. I want to leave you with this promise. The Bible tells us in Mark 9:23, if you can, all things are possible for one who believes. I want to start with a question. How do we believe? When do we believe? How much are we willing to believe? To what stage are we willing to believe? Are we willing to endure and still believe? Is it easy to believe when everything goes well? Do we stop to believe when things are really bad? Do we stop to believe when we have a cancer or an incurable disease? Why is it that we believe so little? You have a choice to believe or not. The Bible tells us, if you can. How difficult is it to can? Now, if you can, all things are possible for one who believes. The answer is hidden in relationship. Relationship with whom? Relationship with Jesus. When you have a relationship with Jesus, the can becomes easy. The more you can, the more possibilities for the one who believes. My desire is that God will bless you all. Till we meet again, and goodbye.